Should you homeschool or should you send your kids to school? In this episode, we'll be talking about why we started homeschooling. Let's go.
Welcome from Roots to Fruit as a Canadian Christian Orthodox homeschooling mother that also works. Many challenges arise. Come with me as I explore these issues, all of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's go on a journey together from roots to fruit.
In Canada, we have a few options for schooling our children. You can send them to public, private, or independent school, or you can choose the more controversial option and homeschool. To be honest, private schools is probably the better option. Most private schools provide a good all around education, extracurricular activities, and many opportunities for students. But it also costs money, lots of money, more than people have to spare, especially during these hard times. So, for the average person, a private school is probably not an option. Next, independent schools. Depending on the school, it could be a good option, but you guessed it, they also cost. If you can find one that can provide a good education that you can afford, then it could be an option and a good one. However, most of us can't afford these two options, which leaves us with public or homeschooling and which one to pick. Our first child started out in school. Though we talked about homeschooling while I was pregnant, we still had concerns with it. For one, we were both working, so who would do the homeschooling? And what would the kids do while we were at work? We also had other concerns, which I'll talk about in a bit. When the lockdowns happened halfway through our child's first year, all of a sudden we were forced to homeschool without homeschooling. What I mean by that is this. Our first child had to do schooling online at home. At the same time, my boss expected me to complete my work as I always did, while our other kids were running around because they were not old enough for school, and everything was closed. This didn't work. It caused nothing but problems, and I was so stressed out. My work suffered, and even worse, my children learned nothing. We ended up stopping the online schooling, instead got the work from the teacher, and we taught. This got better, but it was too much on our plates. That September, they made another attempt to return to schools before it got locked down again. Our child was behind and was having a hard time in school on a social level. My husband and I knew we had to do something about it. So we revisited homeschooling. After all, we were doing the teaching. That was the push. We ventured off into the world of homeschooling. We learned about curriculum and what different styles of learning and much more. But the concerns were still there. Our two main concerns were how do we do the teaching while working and socialization. With the teaching part, oddly, my mind was put at ease quickly after some research. There's tons of resources out there, all different styles for all different types of families and interests, and etc. Truly, there's lots out there for you to choose from. The challenge then became how do we take all those resources and teach it to the kids? At this point, I started talking to other homeschoolers, and that helped. I will go more in depth about this in another episode. But I did apply what I learned and got their first child up to speed in no time. Now, socialization, the big one. People that disagree with homeschooling say that this is a big problem with homeschool kids. Homeschoolers say that's not a problem at all and they're better socialized than public school kids. My opinion is in the middle. It really comes down to the parents and what route they want to take, regardless if the child is in school or not. Socialization is a big topic, so I will dedicate an entire episode on this. Homeschooling seems like a lot of work. It is much easier to drop off the kids at school and or an activity and go about your day. So why homeschool? Well, we had two major concerns with homeschooling, but quite a bit for public schools. Let's face it, kids are not being educated in schools anymore, plainly put. Math and literacy scores are getting worse by the year. Kids learn to read and write in post-secondary instead of elementary. Mental health issues are at concerningly high levels. Suicide is high, violence is high, and skills of all kinds are practically gone, including social skills. Not only that, but issues of morals, ethics, values are being taught in the public sphere may or may not align with what you believe to be the best for your child. Here is an important concept that is quickly dissolving. If you change something and it causes more issues, then stop doing it. Reevaluate until you find something that works. Simple. What we have done with our education system is to do what doesn't work and then keep doing it just so that we don't admit that it's wrong. Parents over the years have become increasingly frustrated with this, and they start to enroll their children in other types of schools or to simply homeschool. I would love to put my children in school, but the schools are not what they used to be. Too many teachers don't care about the kids and their future. After all, they only have them for 1 year. To us parents, they're our kids for life. We want to see our children grow into well established adults. We care, we love them, we nurture them. We want to be there with them, to walk with them. I have no idea how my children will turn out, but I've seen what public schools produce, and I want to at least try to give my children a fair chance. I want to be clear that I'm not criticizing any parent that does things differently. My point is that we should at least try to do what is best for our children, whatever that looks like, and we should try to support each other in those decisions. So here are our reasons why we homeschool. 1, to be there with our kids, to watch them grow and to walk with them in life. 2, for our children's safety. 3, to tailor the teaching style to the learning style of our children. 4, to have a say on what they learn and to focus their education on reading, writing, math, and science. 5, to give them important life tools such as critical thinking, analysis, morals, ethics, and values. 6, to actually have family time and to include dad. 7, to be able to talk about God and Christianity openly and freely. And 8, to allow our children to try different interests so they can decide on what path to take in life, and to also talk about all the different options out there. These are our reasons. For most of history, the parents made the decision for the kids. The parents knew their kids. They knew what was best for them and their family. Let's start to respect that again. Be kind to one another and understanding of the decisions that we all make. Thank you for your time. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time. If you want to know more about me and my podcast, please visit me at my website for more information at fromrootstofruit.podbean.com. May you be blessed from roots to fruit.